All right, let's go. Here is Rip and I down the oval. The audio didn't save, so I'm going to have to do a bit of a voiceover and see how we go, see if I can match the video up. Now, we haven't done a lot of casting, and you'll see that in the very beginning here when he comes into heel, and I ask him to sit, and it's like he's never been told to sit before or done thousands of sessions. Anyway, so throw the first little bumper, get him to resit again, a little bit impulse control. I send him. So you can see he's a little bit lackluster when he runs out until he actually understands it. He gets to go and retrieve stuff, and it just tickles that part of his brain where he gets stupid excited over it and all those kind of cool things. So we're going to put him back into the heel again. I'm going to rethrow the bumper out, hold him in place, a little bit of oppositional on the slip lead there, throw the second and then the third bumper, create a little bit of a pile. Once we've got a pile going, I'll send him out. Now he starts shopping a little bit. He'll pick up that one. He'll go and cast around. I think there's a bit of odour because it's quite a used oval, and he's smelt something previously. And once he'd smelt that before, he has decided that I can't check out from Dad, but when I retrieve that item, I'm just going to cast myself out a little bit further and see if I can smell what's going on over there. He does it a couple of times, like there, and tries to get away with it. And he does, because I've got no way of correcting him for the behaviour other than telling him to get back to work, which he does. Happy for him to kind of suss it out a little bit. Doesn't bother me that much. He's only learning. Resend the bumper back out and back into the pile again. Now, he does a little bit of shopping there. He'll dump the first one, pick up the second one before he comes back. That's not a problem. Brings it back in the end, and then we will restart the game again. So back on the slip lead, into the heel, resend the bumper after he's back into that sit position. Now, his body positioning there is pretty good. He's not pulling forward. I can feel when his momentum is leaning to that forward state. In this case, he's not. He understands that he can't go anywhere because he's got that slip on. If that slip lead wasn't on, it'd probably be a little bit of a different story. Again, it's like he's never been trained a day in his life. I used a lot of colourful language, which is pretty good considering the audio doesn't work and you get to miss out on my vocabulary. So there he goes again. He throws himself out, try and smell whatever he can smell out there. There's a few magpies and stuff on the side there. But anyway, get back to the language that was being used. He's been called a spanner. You're a dickhead. Can't believe that you've never been trained before. And words to that effect. We're just going to keep pushing this straight out. The pile is not that far away. It's probably 10 metres or so. We'll get the mechanics down first, and then we can start increasing that distance, and then we'll start doing blind retrieves later on. At this point in time, I just really want him to enjoy the game. He loves retrieving. It really tickles that part of his brain. So you can see there he kind of pauses. There was a couple of magpies that were fairly close off to my right-hand side there. I just need to make sure that he doesn't disappear trying to chase them. So I don't have him on the long line, but I do have my whistle and my clicker, which is loaded very well for such an occasion, and he will come back based on that. If he was to do that, I would have ended the session straight away and put him straight away. He hates being put back in the car, especially when he's only half loaded. He's only done half a session. He will cry and carry on wanting to come back out. But, as always, tough titties, buddy. You miss out, then so be it. So right there, he tried to grab the bumper out of my hand and actually grabbed my hand instead of the nice big soft roll that he had on offer. So he got a bit of a talking to. Nothing serious. Okay, this time we're going to do a little bit of back casting. Throw the first bumper out. I'm going to start creating a little bit of a pile. Because he's only learning, we let him watch it. We'll throw that third one out in a second. Once I get him to sit, I'll get him to sit facing me so the pile's behind him. Then I'll cast the last little bumper in the direction of the pile, wait for him to look at me. Once he looks at me, I will push him out to his left because that's the way his body was positioned. And you see that I threw the bumper with my right hand, which has orientated his body to that side a little bit more. So you'll see in a sec when I cast him to his right, I will actually throw it with my left hand. No, I won't. I'll throw it with my right hand again. I do at some stage. There we go. First time he's ever done that, so I think he did pretty well considering. He brings it back. He likes to have a bit of a play. We have played tug-of-war with these before, so it's probably not the best thing to use until my duck decoys turn up. That's exactly what I'm going to have to use for the moment. Righto, we throw it back up into the pile again. The moment he looks at me, I raise my arm and I send him, and away he goes. You can see he gets a little bit overexcited. He wants to continue the game himself instead of bringing it straight back to me. That's all right. That's just a training issue that we'll work through. Here we go. Throw it with my left hand. Going to reorientate him on this side. Once he looks at me, there we go, and then I'll send him. So even though his body position was shaping for a left-hand turn for him, I wanted him to go to the right, so I was able to cast him in that direction by using a little bit of spatial pressure. I stepped in towards him, and then using that arm, I was able to send him in that direction, and he understood the assignment, which was really nice. Super nice dog to train, this one. Good-looking dog. Very intelligent for a GSP. Want him to look at me again. When he does, then I send him and off he goes. So when he was a puppy, we went through casting him left and right by using the words left and right. And what I would get him to do is I would get him to sit in place. And then when I say left, he has to turn his head to the left, look at the pile, and then I send him. And likewise for the right-hand side, if he looks at me, I tell him right. His head turns to the right. He looks at the pile on his right-hand side, and then I send him. So at the moment, I'm using get it as his retrieval word. I use that quite a lot in the obedience games that we play when we're downstairs at my house. There we go. Throw the bumper out, and now we'll send him to his right. I'm not overcomplicating this. There's no other commands in there. It's literally look at me, and then I will send him with a hand gesture and the word get it. Words. You can see he's very interested in the magpies that are camped out just out of screenshot there. He loves to try and chase them, but they're a little bit too quick for him. They hang around because I do a fair bit of tracking on this oval as well with my other dogs, and they're not stupid. They'll swoop in and steal the food that I lay down for the dogs. There you go. He's tried to grab the bumper again and grabbed my hand. I'll give him a little bit of a rough house, and the session's pretty much over in terms of formal kind of training. So from here on out, we'll just start playing a few games and just building the intensity in the chase for him. I know he loves to chase, and this dog will run all day, so I just like building more and more. And then add the impulse control in there. Pretty happy with that. He didn't flinch. I'll send him. He'll go straight to that bumper. Oh no, he picked up the other one. Well, there you go. Pretty happy with that. Interestingly, every single one of these dogs out of this litter love to wrestle. Every single one. They have an element of, I want to play fight with you, and it's a rough game if you let it happen. Very interesting quirk from all of them. All right, so from there, all we're going to do is we're just going to pick up the bumpers out of the pile, play a little bit of retrieval, make sure he comes back to me. There's still elements inside this game that he needs to adhere to. Not overly concerned about impulse control at this point. We're just going to build some desire. I'll wait for him to settle a little bit, and then I'll send him at the same time as the bumper goes. So what happened there was I accidentally tooted on my whistle, and that's his come back to me command, like the clicker, which is why he left that bumper alone and came straight back to me. I apologise profusely, but it doesn't seem to bother him. I don't think he cares that much. He still has the drive and the determination to chase, regardless of whether I make a mistake or not. So these are nice little dumbbells that I got from Beefy. Really, really good in Australia here. Good quality product, very well made. Suits this dog to a T, and they're really good for my German Shepherds and my Rottweilers. They seem to love them as well. Okay, from here, I'm pretty much going to let this one go and then head back to the car, and that'll be that for this session. So I think that went for about 10 minutes. I could be wrong. I think I've got 13 minutes on the clock here, but yeah, just over 10 minutes. A pretty good session for a young dog such as this. Lots of learning. All right, well, there you go. Until next session, go and train your dog.